What does a spiritual experience look like? Warm feelings? Groovy vibes? Not according to Isaiah. In Isaiah chapter 6, the prophet has the ultimate spiritual experience. He meets the Lord. Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1, "In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord, high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple." Isaiah sees the Lord Jesus Christ, 700 years before he was made flesh. We know that this is the Son of God because no one has ever seen the Father. Appearances of God are always appearances of God the Son. See John 1 verse 18 or Colossians 1 verse 15 for proof. And if you're still not convinced, John tells us categorically that it was Jesus' glory which Isaiah saw in John 12 from verse 40. So Isaiah meets Jesus, the Lord Christ. How does Isaiah respond to meeting Christ? In terror. Verse 5, "Woe to me, woe is me," in the old translations. "Woe is me," I cried, "I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty." The appearance of the Lord is like an asteroid crashing down into Isaiah's world. As Job found when he met the Lord, a divine encounter ruins you. Isaiah is exposed and he cries, "Woe is me." This is interesting because in the previous chapter, Isaiah had been dishing out woes to other people. Woe is a word in the Bible that kind of combines judgment with just a dash of sympathy as well. To say woe to you is to say, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. And Isaiah has been declaring woes to everyone around him. In Isaiah chapter 5, he hands out 6 woes. There are woes to the greedy, the drunkards, the deceitful, the perverse, the arrogant, the corrupt. There's a 6-fold denunciation. But biblically speaking, 6 is an incomplete number. It would be like a sailor bragging that he'd sailed the 6 seas. You say, hang on, I think you've got 1 to go. You're missing 1. Where's the 7th? Well, the temple shows us the 7th woe. Isaiah had been saying, woe to you, 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 woe to you. But when he meets the Lord Christ, he is humbled and he finally says, woe is me. That's where a true encounter with God leaves us. Unable to point the finger at anyone else, but profoundly aware of our own spiritual poverty before the Lord. Notice that it's Isaiah's lips that he thinks of as unclean, which is interesting. Isaiah is a prophet. He's fantastic with words. You'll know that you're good with words if people are still reading what you write 2.5 millennia later, right? Isaiah's lips are his best feature, yet even his best feature is entirely unclean before the Lord Jesus. That's how unsettling a true encounter with God is. What hope is there for Isaiah? Well, surprisingly, hope comes in the form of judgment. Verse 6, "Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. With it he touched my mouth and said, 'See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away and your sin atoned for.'" Imagine yourself in Isaiah's sandals. You've just confessed your corruption before the Lord Almighty. In response, one of his flaming angelic servants flies at you with a burning coal taken from the altar, the place of judgment. Surely this is the end. This is the end for Isaiah, and yet the judgment becomes the cleansing. The coal from the altar doesn't harm, but heals and touches the most sinful part of Isaiah. What a picture of Christ's cross. You know, his altar, his cross should be our judgment, yet Jesus endures the burnings for us, and now through his death it becomes our cleansing. We are driven down in confession but raised up in forgiveness. So what about us? Are we complacent about our faith? There's a sense in which Isaiah was just waltzing through the temple, and the last person he expected to see was the Lord. Is that like us? Are we complacent? Are we wanting to meet with Jesus? He wants to meet with us. But such an encounter shakes things up. Are we ready for that? Maybe we've been too busy declaring woes to other people. Have you been spending your time thinking about yourself as superior to all the other people getting it wrong out there? Do you know what it is to be undone in the presence of King Jesus, to forget about everyone else and just to say, woe is me? Have you confessed to him your uncleanness? If so, know that through his cross, forgiveness flies to you. It touches that guilty part. And Christ's verdict is this: your guilt is taken away and your sin is atoned for. This is a true spiritual experience. It casts us lower than we'd ever have imagined and lifts us higher than we'd ever dare dream.